So is this final table, or are
This is
we?
definitely not.
Okay.
We have a solid 200 hands to go
Okay. All right.
as of yet, and we're gonna still take our time. So like we'll be breaking everything down. We're not gonna just like skip through everything. Um, See that take it down. Yeah, like we can go even smaller than this. Honestly, saving money, you can go like 10K, like 9,800, like something ridiculously small like that. We're just gonna be folding out like hands like this, like king six of diamonds, all of that stuff. Like king six of diamonds might like is probably a call here in big blind shoes, but the cool thing is that like one common theme of our opponents is that like as recreational players, they don't know the correct defend ranges, like both pre-flop and post-flop. So like I had like king six of diamonds, they should be calling to like a third quarter pot bet, but they're not going to. Like they're gonna obviously call like king six of clubs here. Um, like that's very obvious, and like and anybody a blind squirrel can recognize that. But like a lot of the other hands that they should be defending, they just aren't. Um, so like yeah, like 9,800 it would do the same job that 12,222 would do here.
Mhm.
See, I'm still struggling to defend something like King Six of Diamonds or King Five of Diamonds or whatever. And
On a board like that.
yes, and it's still cloudy for me to recognize where I should be defending in those spots.
Yeah, like I'd be defending like a lot of my diamond combos, both like king high diamonds. I'd be defending like some jack high diamonds, some like I'd be defending like five six of diamonds. I would actually really like to see a check raise here in their shoes with a hand like five six of diamonds, six seven of diamonds, eight seven of diamonds.
Yeah, can you give us defend range in that spot? Would you mind?
Defend like
Like versus like a quarter size pop bet or yeah.
yeah. So on queen 4-4, two clubs, one diamond. So like okay, here's our defend range. Like our defend range is something like this.
Versus a quarter size bet.
Or for just
Well,
pre.
I'm talking about pre, and then we're gonna
Okay,
like splice this down. Um,
okay.
so like once we see a quarter pot C bet, queen of clubs, four of diamonds, like I'm not folding any of my ace X to that bet. I'm also not going to be folding any of my king of clubs combos. So like king of clubs diamond, king of clubs heart, king of clubs spade, um, and we're just like having to fold a lot of these offsuit stuff.
Uh-huh.
Um, we're not defending any of these Jack 10 offsuits. Obviously defending all of our queens. We don't have these hands, by the way. But then, and then I'm not folding any pair here, like either.
Okay.
And then, like a lot of my worst like combos of like backdoor straight, backdoor flush, I'm actually gonna check raise here. Like even like as bad as like three deuce of diamonds. Like we could actually check raise that. We can like we're not gonna be check raising a 4x here, just because exploitatively we know our opponents are gonna be betting so often on this board texture that when we do have a 4, like we need to just like slow play.
Well, and when stacked up is shallow enough that we don't need 3 streets to get it all in, like that factors in too, right?
Yep, absolutely. But then I would be check raising like things like 5 deuce of diamonds, like 5 deuce of diamonds, 5 deuce of clubs, 5-3 of diamonds, 5-3 of clubs. I mean, it's like
those are all check raises.
Getting his root is like 6-3 of diamonds, 6-3 of clubs.
That's true.
6-5 of diamonds, 6-5 of clubs, 7-5 of diamonds, and 7-5 of clubs. 7.
And what's the size? I'm still struggling. Like when I'm check raising S bluff, like there. What's the exact sizing that we're going to use versus the sizing that you bet? Like,
Given stacked a pot, we don't have to go really big. Like we can go as little as like 30K here.
Okay.
Like 2.5x. Like 2.5x here, given stacked a pot, is like it's gonna do the same job as like a 3x or like my normal sizing when we're deeper is going like minimum of like 42 here, or like I'll go upwards. I'll go somewhere between when we're like deep, when we're both like 40-50 bigs or more deep. I'm going like 48 here for a check raise.
Okay, because that's the difference that I'm struggling with. So how deep do we have to be to make it like 4x versus making it 2.5x?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, yeah. So say we both had 180K here, right? Then we could go more towards that sizing. So like I would probably say like around 30 bigs or more.
Okay, so 30 bigs or more.
Yeah.
Gets you do the 4x sizing. Yeah. Less than 30 bigs. You're doing
and you only have about 15, and he looks like he only has about 24.
Yeah. Yeah. You could even reasonably do it on this stack depth, but I would probably downsize off this stack depth.
Yeah, because I think when I've been check raising as a bluff and stuff, sometimes when we've been short, I've been going too big, and then sometimes when we've been deep, I've been going too small, and I've been getting confused on when I should be going what sizing.
Yep.
Honestly, I tend to just size it to what I want. Like if I want to fold, I tend to go bigger, and if I want to call, I go smaller. Like with my 4x here, like I'll even click it back sometimes because they're just never folding.
See, well, that's not true though.
More often than not, like I get calls from people when I click it back, or like
their betting frequency on this board texture is like any 2 cards that they have. I would prefer not to check raise our 4x here, actually, especially given
in this spot,
especially given stack depth. You know, like stack the pot here is like when this c-bet gets put in. If we switch positions, we're big blind and villain is hijack. Villain doesn't even have 2x pot. I get the whole clickback thing. Like I would prefer,
I'm not talking about in this hand. I
would prefer it on a different board texture.
For sure.
Like
no, I'm just talking about spots in general where we want to call. Like when Fallon's talking about sizing, like I think there's some room to size to what we want our opponent to do, right?
Well, personally, I'm when I'm check raising, like I'm talking about check raising as a bluff.
Yeah, I think we can be super exploitative here and have mostly bluffs and very few like value combos. Like I'm with you on Poker Pastor on if I want to call.
Right.
If I want to call, like, it's like I'm usually sizing like down a little bit.
So,
like
But as a
that.
bluff, the blockers don't really matter as a bluff here at this point, right? Because we're not really going to get. Do we really ever expect our opponents to fold a queen here?
We're gonna see a turn card a lot of the time, and it's gonna help to pick up equity to put the. I mean, yeah, we're not gonna expect them to fold the queen right now, but like, you don't think like pocket nines ever continues here, or like ace king with the ace of clubs, or like ace king of diamonds, ace king of clubs, like. That's why having 5-6 of diamonds here is really valuable. Like
all the backdoor equity you've got.
Yeah, exactly. It's like potentially like we peel off 8 of diamonds and we chunk it in there, and like pocket nines, pocket tens, pocket jacks is like, okay, I'm out. Or like ace king with ace of clubs is like, I'm out. Who knows what they do even with like 10-9 of like what if they have 10-9 of clubs and it comes to 8 of diamonds? And we check raise flop and they called, and then we shove turn. 10 high flush draw isn't calling off.
Sometimes they are, unfortunately.
Like that's the value.
That's
the value of not having a club in our hand, is that we unblock clubs for our opponent to have. So when they brick off on turn and we shove, that like we have massive fold equity.
One of the lappy effects that I've had this week is there's been 3 times now where I've bluffed on the river, like jammed, gotten called, and won the hand. Like, people are so non-believers sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think with the best hand is the goat.
I'm like, dang it, he called, and then I'm like, how did I just win this hand? What just happened?
That's great. The value bluff.
Yeah.
I miss your streams, Justin. Like where you like this is now we're gonna get a call here. It's called the Lappy effect.
Mm-hmm.
It happened.
That's right. So yeah, I don't know. So did we kind of like touch base on this hand enough?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Like I split my like call ranges. Like I would be calling with all my queen X, all my king X of club. So like my one king, my king of club combos, all of my ace X, and then we have a bunch of backdoor diamond hands that we're gonna be check raising, that are backdoor straight, backdoor flush. Taking advantage of a very wide.
Are we check raising any of our club hands though?
Yeah, like I said, those weak ones.
Okay.
Okay. Usually like 10 of clubs and down. This gets a little tricky though. Like given stack the pot, like it's like not even 2 to 1. Like we probably just check shove a lot of our club combos. Really.
Like 5-9 clubs. If you had 5-9 clubs.
5-9 clubs, yeah. Yeah, because we're expecting our opponent to be c-betting this board with their whole range. Mm-hmm. And like, the times they have a queen, it sucks because we only have like, 30-some% equity, but that's not going to be the case every time. Like, they're not just going to have a queen here. Like, you have to not have Mupsy, monster under the bed syndrome. And you just have to kind of go for it. So yeah, we'd be like check shoving like a lot of our club combos actually, especially like 10 high clubs and lower, jack high clubs and like king. Like, probably given this scenario with stack to pot, we probably just put it in with all of our club combos. But like when we're deeper stacked, like 30, 40, 50 bigs and more, we're going to be just check calling like our jack high clubs, our king high clubs, our ace high clubs.
Your club condos with overs.
Yeah, our better club combos. Yep. And with like jack high club combos, we have like overs to like all of their middle pairs, right? Like
right.
9s, 8s, 7s, 6s, 5s. So that's one of our considerations as well. And so it's a nuanced strategy that we definitely want to take in like a lot of spots actually, and we can continue to kind of discover more spots. We're going to be getting deeper in this tournament, and we're going to have more chips eventually. So hopefully we can find some spots too where there's more post flop play.
Yeah, since you came in second, I'm guessing you got some more chips at some point.
Yeah. We're defending big blind versus button open here. And the cool thing about this is like when you're short stacked, like you are gonna have like better equity realization, like especially with like these like Broadway X cards, like so like we're defending like every king here. We're defending most queens and then most jacks.
So yeah, that's against my natural instinct. In that, if I'm short stacked, I tend to really tighten up, and I'm guessing that's really not optimal.
Yeah, definitely, because all we gotta do is catch a piece, like,
and then go with it.
Yeah, and like we have, with like Jack X, Queen X, King X, like if we ever catch a king, a queen, a jack, it's just like gold. It's so gold, especially when we're considering like a super wide button open, like. This guy's got chip lead in the tournament, I think, too.
Oh, okay.
That's my alarm.
Glad it's not the fire alarm.
Jesus Christ, Lappy, that's not a way to wake up, man.
I don't know how many times Fallon had to call me to wake me up actually today.
At least it's not your ringtone.
I know, right? That would be alarming. Pun intended.
Ha ha ha! That's real cute.
But yeah, that's something that I probably don't do nearly enough of just considering, catching a piece and going with, especially if I didn't catch that he was the chip leader, so he's got to be, opening really wide.
Yeah, so like our like we're probably this is like, so I'm gonna take out all the hands that we're shoving here.
Shoving pre.
Yeah. So I think
the thing with it too, Casper, is it doesn't change the utility of your stack. Putting in another big blind doesn't really change what you can do in the next hand or the hand after.
Right.
And I don't consider that a lot, so I need to start thinking about that.
So like, I would be, I would be just like jamming all these hands that I'm unclicking. I'm going to be putting in pre. So all this Ace X, all of this like Broadway stuff, all this suited Broadway stuff, all these pairs. I would just be putting in pre here versus button open. And then we can just defend all of this stuff that's in yellow. And Melissa, what she said was really true. It doesn't change a darn thing for us. And we're going to be against a very wide range, and we're just going to make better decisions than our opponents post-flop. And so, like, definitely super plus EV defending all of these hands, taking this big blind defense strategy of 3-bet jamming some hands. Actually, okay, so, like, with aces...
Maybe take out aces and kings.
Aces, kings, queens, so, like, we can like talk about our strategy with those hands being off of like a little bit less than 20 here. We can still 3-bet like not all in. Like I guess we'd 3-bet like 36k, 38k, something like that. That's like 2.5x. What's your strategy, Melissa, with that? Are you maybe like flatting aces too? Like we can even flat aces actually here, and then maybe like take kings and queens, and 2.5x those bad boys.
I mean, definitely, at least some of the time we need to be. I think it kind of depends a little bit on this person's stats, but.
So we only have like 22 hands on this guy. He's 36, 29, 17. Not surprising. Been very active. So I think that would tend to like.
I mean, since his range is so wide, I probably will flat more of those just so we can get likely another C bet out of him. And if he does flop anything, he'll probably go with it because of our stack. So,
right.
I mean, this
and
is.
You know you're going to be heads up too.
So. This is a really good spot to flat those.
Yeah. Do you flat jacks too?
Probably not jacks. I think like.
Do you rip it or do you like 2.5x that? Because that feels a little wrong to me.
Which?
To just rip it.
Yeah. No, I mean, really, jacks and tens, to be honest. Maybe like queens, jacks, and tens, we should be like 2.5xing, giving him a chance to shove if he wants.
Like to shove on us or to flat us, like. Because, like, you think this guy really cares about 36K when he has 440K?
Exactly. I mean, he's already
16K.
He's already put chips in, so he's not going to fold.
And like the whole big blind versus button dynamic that exists, that that all of us know about. Like, oh, they know I'm opening so wide on the button, they're just clicking it back at me, seeing if I really have it. Like that kind of stuff. Like that meta, I feel like that meta is pretty prevalent. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I know. I think that a lot. Which is why it's so great when you actually have it on the button.
Exactly, or when you have it on the button, or when you have it in the big blind, and it's like
and then in the reverse.
So yeah, I like that strategy. We defend here. Super tempted to just not fold here, but like, what are we gonna do with king deuce off? Like, just toss it.
Yep.
Like the last thing I want to do is fold. When I mean, because if we look at the flop act, like we could just and we know that the range is gonna be so wide. Like if I had the deuce of diamonds here, I'm absolutely not folding.
So on that board, if you're on the button with king jack, are you betting that?
Am I betting this? If I'm against me, I am. But if I'm against,
well, I mean that's a good point.
If I'm against the recreational, I'm not though. I'm checking back, letting our opponent hit their equity, also induce some bluffs.
Right, because he actually, if he defends and hits a 6, he's betting a lot of turns.
Mm-hmm. And or draws 7-5, 8-7. There's a lot of stuff. I think though, because we block Jack X, which is top pair here, it's really hard to get value from a lot of hands.
Right.
And we can let them catch a piece, and we're not really afraid of like too many cards. Like I guess a queen or an ace, but like our opponent probably rejams most of their ace X pre, and that leaves them like some queen X that probably isn't even that scary, honestly. So really not any scary cards out there. So I'd be very happy to check this combo back and take it to a turn in river and try to get some value out of our hand, exploitatively, of course. If we're playing against like Melissa or Searchy Claus or myself, we probably want to quarter pot it here and give them some rope to.
What did he bet? I didn't catch that.
16K. Yeah, I don't like the bet. I think we need to just be going smaller here. If we're going to be betting, we need to go like 12K, 11K, 10K even. Like this board just doesn't super like, yeah, we have 6x, 4x, but it doesn't like smash us. So
right.
I think we just need to check it back and or go even smaller than 16K here if we're gonna bet. Like, I'd be more happy here to bet like these hands.
Mm-hmm.
And like betting these hands. Or even like these hands. Than betting King Jack. Yeah, when we have a 6 and we don't have a Jack, we make it. We obviously make it more likely, or we make it so there's more combos with Jack X, but like we're not really afraid of that. We're gonna be betting all of our like worst pairs here for value, for equity denial, and then also just for protection. These hands here are all very vulnerable, and
right.
and they can get value, but they also need a lot of protection. Like if you imagine if we have like ace 6 here, how many bad cards are there on turn?
Mostly all of them.
Right?
Right.
And so like we can still get value from like a 4 and a worst 6 and 7-5 and 8-7 and ace X.
Yeah, I've been finding spots like to get like really on like on rivers to get thin value from like when it runs out right, to get value from like worst 6s or ace 4 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Little spots.
Yeah.
Cool.
Especially
pretty cool.
Especially when your opponents will like. Okay, so like both live and online, actually, this is the case. Where like your opponents will lead here if they have a Jack, or they'll check raise you with the Jack, or they'll check shove with the Jack, or any of those things. When they don't lead, when they don't check raise you, like we can just like tap them really like.
They never have a Jack.
Yeah, in certain instances, exactly. Like, especially if you've been at a table with somebody for a while, you've been watching them, and you've been seeing them lead out with, like, top pair and stuff all the time and whatever, or check raising top pair. Like, when they just call, like, you could even consider going, depending on the run out, you could consider going 3 streets with a hand like 7s, 8s, 9s, or, like, ace 6 even. Like at least 2 streets though. 2 streets of like decent value. Our opponents just most of the time, like recreational opponents, are just going to, they're going to telegraph like their hand strength to you, and it's going to be very, very easy to play against. And we're gonna be able to just outplay them because of that, and because of all the other strategies that we employ. So yeah. Any questions on all of that?
I just love the detail we're getting into on a king deuce offsuit defend.
Welcome to the study group.
This is what we do.
All right, we're gonna rejam queen 6 off here. Oh, no. Go to 1. So we pick up the 5-3 suited. It folds to us blind versus blind. We have 14 bigs. I think the worst option here is to shove. I think that's a very bad option. I think you could consider either like 2.2xing, making it like 17,000 to go, and or limping. I think both options are like viable. I think I think off of this stack depth, I more want to start limping, just because that 17K is is a humongous chunk of our stack, and like if we ever get chipped on, like it really hurts. I think if we had like 140K, I'd be like going exclusively raise only. Like if we had like near 20, even like near even like just a couple more big blinds, I would just be like exclusively raising. But I think once I start getting like under like 13 bigs, like I start to peddle my chips and value their existence. So I think I probably prefer just like limping here. Like what do you do here, Melissa?
I limp. I agree with everything you said.
And oh my goodness, you did the worst option possible.
This is what happens over time. We evolve, right? And then we watch stuff back and we're like, what was I doing?
Yeah, what?
Was it something about him as a person?
What?
Was it something
about
like,
this particular person? No, we don't have any hands on these. We just got moved to this table. No, we don't have any info. It's really dumb. So 15 bigs, just folding. I have a feeling like we shouldn't have done anything here. Okay, I thought this was like the chip leader from we got moved from that table. If this guy is the chip leader of the tournament still, like the guy we were playing against, like I don't know, 10 minutes ago, and if we had seen them just just mass opening, like I would consider putting this in,
yeah, for sure, I would too.
But we got obviously a different situation. We're off of just 10 here. That's a pretty easy jam. Get through 12.5. I think technically this is like this is a Nash jam.
Yeah, it is.
But I may have passed on it because of where we were in the tournament. And we just took a jam spot. I think psychologically, people, when you start playing consecutive hands, people will be more and more likely to call you off later. So I think that might have been a thing too. But yeah, this is a Nash jam. I think normally you can even raise fold here. I feel like I'd prefer that, just like considering people aren't going to be rejamming on us late and people aren't going to be defending enough.
Yeah, honestly, I've been doing that. I've been doing that kind of thing in the Sin Goes, because I've found myself losing spots where I'm Nash jamming because they're not calling Nash, and they're just, sometimes it's easier, it's better just to raise fold, I feel like, in spots like this now. Where I was Nash jamming.
I love raise folding small aces exploitatively. I think it works really well, and it also allows you to open more freely and not. You already have the plan in place, right? So.
Yeah, and they're just folding when they don't have it, and when they do have it, they're just jamming, and so it's just you kind of keep yourself from.
And it gives us a little bit of balance, because there are definitely hands here that we wouldn't shove, that we would raise to induce. So.
Right.
Having a few of these Yep. I don't do it a whole lot, but I have started to try to do that.
Yeah.
And I do it in sit and goes a lot. It's just not anything I've really ever done much in MTTs.
Yeah,
but...
the value of our tournament life is just like so like up there. Like if I'm cut off or button here, I'm just like putting this in, but just getting through 4 people, like they're still gonna wake up with like hands like what is this like I do have a calculator, so like potentially what is it like 0.92 plus 0.95 plus 0.95 plus 0.9 like 8 like so like did I do that right? So I'm calculating the percentage of times like we're getting called here. So like if we open shove, what range is the cutoff calling us with? I gave them like a 8% calling range. And then behind I tightened up their ranges just because of their stacked sizes. But I think I did something wrong in the calculations. Ryan is teaching me these new methods of calculating how often people are waking up with hands that are going to be calling you behind. And I think I did this. I don't think we're supposed to get 3.8%. I think I did that wrong. So sorry about that. I'll have to ask him about it again. But like we can like we'll be teaching you guys like new techniques with like your like basically having your calculator open all the time at your table, so like you can kind of get a guesstimate of like what percent of the time people like this person is going to be calling you, and then button small blind big blind behind as well, and I think that's an important kind of practice to have at when we're studying, so that we don't always have to do those things at the table, because I know I play way too many tables to be able to sit there and focus on a task like that, a menial task. Yeah, I think folding here is just like really, I don't know, I don't really like it. All right, queen 7 suited. Like we're getting all these type of hands that we hate folding, but we're at a stack depth where we can't really do anything with that. We can do something with this though.
It's a pretty hand.
This is Melissa's favorite hand. I feel like it's the hand that she always has when she plays against me.
Yeah, a lot.
And let's hold dealer. Oh, so yeah, we're just like min raising, like min raising like this range, something like this, off of like 12 bigs. Something like this. Like probably like 11%. Eventually like near 12. I know a lot of people just tend to like try to mash, just mash their chips in the middle. And yeah, I don't prefer that. I prefer having like a opening range, like something like this. And then like our jams would be our jams would be like these hands. We can even have like a few of these as jams, really. We can kind of take a mixed strategy with like these hands. We can have like we can have them like be like half the time all in, half the time like min raising them. And then like even like one of these too as well. You can throw in as like some as an open or jam or mixed strategy. So what do you think, Melissa? Is like what's your approach here?
No, I like that. I probably don't do that enough, but I like it.
What don't you do enough of?
Raising more hands versus just push folding.
Yeah, that's, and I'm like, I was thinking when you were singing the sing goes that you're doing stuff more.
Yeah, I do it a lot in sit and goes, but
I feel like experimenting with that hopefully will help me. It's just like I think it's harder when you're playing the long game, like to remember that you can do shit like that. Because that's stuff I have not done in the long game, and that I found myself losing the freaking tournament in spots like that where maybe I could have just min raised, folded, or done shit like that.
You're absolutely right. The thing in sit and goes, I mean, it's almost always short stack play in sit and goes, so I'm super used to it. I'm very comfortable playing that way in sit and goes. But yeah, you're right. In the longer game, it's like I need chips. No, we can cockroach our way around.
Because I want to win. But maybe that's the way to win sometimes. I've seen Justin do it a bunch of times, like the little min raise off of 5 big blinds.
I'm having a lot of success with that
And
this week.
obviously
It doesn't work every time, but it works enough of a percentage of the time that it's a very profitable play.
Yeah, just like the creating additional fold equity that you might not otherwise have.
It's just an extra opportunity to mess up.
The other night I saw him on a final table. He's like, I'm just gonna min raise this and hope that this one isolates me. And it all worked out exactly how he hoped it would work out, because by min raising, like a couple of people folded and then the other guy isolated and then the other people folded and he ended up heads up.
Yeah, and we only had like 3 bigs.
Whereas if he would have just shoved, then they would have all called,
And we actually did something really tricky.
So sick to watch.
We actually did something really tricky at that Hyper FT one night where we were 3-handed. And I think it was 3 bigs again. And the button limped to like try to just like call to like get in with the small blind versus me. And the small blind limped. And then I min raised.
Yeah.
I min raised to try to let the button ISO me potentially.
Yeah.
And they only just called, and then the small blind called. We were 3-handed at the hyper, the 10K hyper FT. I don't think I don't know what day that was, so I can't bring the hand up.
I know I was railing. I remember that.
She was watching, Fallon was watching, and so button limps, small blind limps, and then we only have like 2.5 bigs. and I make it 2 bigs. And I keep half a big behind, and button calls, small blind calls. It comes like queen 8-9, and small blind checks. I check. Button pots it. Small blind calls the pot. Small blind calls the pot size bet. I fold, and I'm like super shorty. Like these guys both have like 10 or 20 bigs, and they end up taking each other out, and I get like a $600 or $700 pay jump because
yeah, because he said if I fold here, I can possibly get the pay jump.
I left myself with half a big blind behind to get the $700 pay jump, and the chip leader did take out the second in chips guy, and like
yeah, that's such a sit and go play too. Because in sit and goes, you just try to claw to the top is the idea. It's really easy to do that.
Yeah, and I think maybe if I employ some of those things, because I just won the sit and go I was playing just now, like, and I keep winning these things, and so like maybe that's something I needed to think about and try to remember as I get to later stages in the tournament, because I think it's like a different way of thinking, and sometimes we get like to where we're just like if we're short or whatever, we feel desperate. And that's probably the wrong way to feel.
Yeah, you're like you have utility with like any big blinds, honestly, and like there and like so like we've been talking about Nash jams, but like sometimes like Nash jams aren't the play. You know, sometimes there's more profitable plays like raise folding, etc. And it's just like kind of like, if you guys can like study really hard and like get this stuff down with me, like potentially you get in a state of flow. I think that's what it's called, where you have all these fundamentals like down that your brain has like room to really like come up with creative paths towards like maximizing your EV in like each and every situation, and where you can get ridiculous and that's just gonna create like even more money for you, like. And I'd love to review the like when I got heads up in the ACR warm up a couple months ago. Like, I'd love to review that one with you guys too sometime, because I got super ridiculous in that tournament. Like I was just 3-betting like 8-4 off and stuff from the big blind, and just like all kinds of really creative. Like, I was in a state of flow with Fallon. Fallon was there, just sweating me, and it's just a really good example of
that was the one Robbie won, right?
Yeah. we ran so bad against him, heads up.
Yeah, when you were on my stream.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yep, I was there sweating.
And you were encouraging
so was everybody
me.
else.
You're like you got plenty of chips, Justin. You got plenty of chips. And then I got like a few double up. I got like a few double ups super late, super deep in that tournament, and that got me into the flow. That got me into like the safe zone, like, or I could just get ridiculous and have all the fundamentals down where I don't have to think about them, right? And
right.
Instead of thinking about those fundamental things, my brain has room to think about other things. Yeah.
Well, when you're talking about the Nash jams now, like there's a time in the tournament where you want us to be Nash jamming like 20 bigs or less in certain spots so that we can chip up, like in the middle stages maybe sometimes or whatever, like so that we can get chipped up.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's times where we slow down on the Nash.
Yeah, the Nash jamming is like, that's
confusing to me.
Middle game is we're doing more Nash jamming when we're short, deeper in tournaments, especially tournaments where we have a large edge over the opponents in our tournament. We want to be doing less Nash jamming, and maybe cutting out the bottom portions of our shove ranges, and playing those more as.
Work on it, just switching that fucking gear.
Yeah, playing those bottom parts of our ranges as raise folds instead of just open shove.
Like, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I just start to get into a pattern in my brain where I'm supposed to jam this, and then like I forget to slow it down.
Well, it's ingrained in us as tournament players. The stack sizes and what you're supposed to do is just like it's ingrained, and we don't stop. And that's just kind of been MT2 play for a long time, and a lot of people don't adjust to that. So, whereas like sit and go players, to your point, are usually pretty comfortable with that because that's what they do. And cash players too, because they just don't know any different.
So I was thinking about whether we should be finding a value bet here. So we have like Queen Jack Ace. We have fourth. We have like fourth nut flush. But like I can also see myself checking here and bluff catching with a hand like this as well. I think either option is probably pretty valid. If we were gonna bet here, we would probably go like I don't know, between 20 and 30K. I think like, but the problem is like, what are we trying to get paid by? Like I guess like we'd be trying to get paid by like pocket eights with the heart, sevens with the heart. I think it's kind of difficult. I think I'm more comfortable putting this as a bluff catcher and betting like my Jack X of hearts or Jack of hearts X, Queen of hearts X, like betting those type of hands. What do you do here, Melissa?
I completely agree with you. If we have the Jack, I mean, now we can get called by the 9. So yeah, you're exactly right in what you said. There's not enough that can call us, and I don't even know if they have that if they're going to call every time. So
right. And they may bluff even with a hand like that. Who knows if they even bluff like their worst heart, their like worst hearts, like deuce of hearts, 4 hearts. Or maybe they think they can value bet those hands like and do that incorrectly. You just never know with these people, really.
And they can bluff anything too, just because if you don't have a heart, it's really difficult for you to call. So I think we have a much better bluff catcher than we do a value getter.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting to. At first, I was like, can we value bet here? And then I was like, I don't think so.
I mean, I don't really hate a bluff there by the button.
By the button?
Yeah, by your villain there.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think they have too much showdown value to be bluffing. Like, we can easily have a 10 here or a king here without a spade, without a heart. I would much rather see them bluff with non-heart combos. If they're bluffing with combos like this, really they're just going to be bluffing way too often. And when they do have showdown value like this, there's just no need. Especially when like the stack to pot is so small here. For them to ever consider bluffing here, they would have to risk a significant portion of their stack to do so. And so I think that added to the fact that they have a lot of showdown value makes me dislike a bluff here. If they had, I'm trying to think what their best bluffs would be here.
Yeah, I mean, in their spot, I'm not bluffing with a heart.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't bluff with this hand, but a hand that I have like 0 chance to win, and I don't remember how this played out now because I've played too many hands since.
Yeah, I think so. They bet flop. We called. It went check turn, and then river. We checked it to them. I was thinking about like best combos for them to bluff with. I guess it'd be like hands that contain like a queen or a jack or a 9 that don't have a heart in them, that block some of our value combos, like Queen of Hearts X, Jack of Hearts X. So like hands that contain like a 9 without a 9 or an 8 or a Jack without any hearts that block our Queen of Hearts X, like Queen of Hearts 9, Queen of Hearts 8. a Queen of Hearts, Queen of Hearts, Jack of Clubs. So all like those I think would probably be the best combos. From my study with Nikki Petrangelo, when we're bluffing on 4 hearts, four like monotone, like flush boards, we don't want to interact so much with the board as we do want to interact with like our opponent's value range.
Mm-hmm.
When we block our opponent's value range, that's way more important than in any significant way connecting with the board. So
deep.
So in reality, actually, like having the 4 of hearts in our hand would be like a really bad bluff, because we would want to have our opponent have the 4 of hearts, because those would be one of the hands that would actually be folding to their bluff, right?
Yeah, that's that, and I'm starting to sometimes see those things. Like, but I usually see them after I've bet and made the mistake. I'm like, oh shit, wait, I blocked the combo that I'm trying to fold out.
And that's not a bad thing, because then you learn and remember that in the future. Like I always say, it's really, in my sessions, if I make a mistake, like pretty early on, I end up playing really well the rest of my session, because I'm like kind of beat myself up about it, but I'm aware of it because I do the same thing. I'm like, oh man, that was really bad, and just didn't do it in game. So I don't think it's bad to have those things happen and then have those thoughts.
Yeah, it's all a learning process, and making mistakes, in my opinion, is just a faster route to profit, because you're gonna let it bug you, and it should bug you, and you should not forget about them, and you should go back and review them, and you should be focusing on your next session. Okay, like this is what I learned from my last session after reviewing those hands, in this kind of spot, blah 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 blah. Like, so in reality, it's just a shoots and ladders game.
Yeah, and personally, I don't know if this happens with you guys, but personally, when I learn some new things, when I've written down a bunch of stuff and I've learned new things to do in new spots, sometimes I'm losing a little before I'm winning, because I'm
absolutely
putting myself in that situation and doing that thing, and I'm not always doing it right, or they just have the top of the
It just doesn't work, right?
Right. Yeah. And so a lot of times I'll downswing a little bit before I start upswinging.
Yeah, that's actually what I got to get past too, is just, being able to take the risk, and then, this is a higher variance method, I think, right, Lappy? I mean, so I'm be running it too. Yeah.
I mean, it's not necessarily higher variance. Like some of the plays are, but we're just maximizing EV in every situation.
I think it tends to be. It doesn't eliminate variance for sure. Nothing does, but I find it to be lower variance just because we're getting more opportunities to accumulate, and that allows us to overcome the structure better. So yep. I think it actually kind of does reduce some variance. But again, like we talked about, like tournaments are still going to come down to a couple key hands at the end, and there's just no way to avoid that. So,
but you can. You need to know that all of the chips you've accumulated up to those points will help you overcome those coolers. Like, you leave yourself with like 4 bigs behind after
instead of being out.
Yeah, instead of being out is so huge, because there's a decent percentage of the time you're able to come back from 4 big blinds and build that back up.
Right, and I got to get some reps in. I haven't even had my first session with you, Lappy, yet. So I mean,
yeah. So yeah, we're just always maximizing EV. Like, we're just looking at we're playing a long game here, right? Like, the long game is if you make the maximum EV decisions, the decisions that make the most chips all the time, and you reduce your mistakes, and you take advantage of your opponent's mistakes, long term, you're just going to be winning and printing money, and that's really all that matters.
Yeah, it's like I feel like some of the spots seem high variance, but like other spots are less. See, that's really just weird. Like the Nash jams are definitely high variance.
But we actually cut out a bunch of that variance though. You know, that's why we were talking about opening ranges and stuff being like opening or jamming like these hands.
Yeah, but it's recognizing in game and getting just getting, I guess, some practice more than, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Just getting volume in and always learning and always growing and learning to make the better decisions all the time and making less mistakes.
I really hope when I get like to where I can get back into more MTTs, I really hope that this sit and go experience is going to help me with late game.
We need to just be calling here with kings. I don't like this.
What'd you do?
We min clicked it. I just think that we're getting fold so often here from big blind when we do this.
You should be flatting.
Like, we just want to be calling this and letting them make mistakes. With like hands like king 3 off, middle to the middling part of their range.
Or maybe, hands like king, queen, king, jack, slightly better hands that they might spaz off on.
Yep, absolutely. Yep, there's all kinds of scenarios where we just call here, and that's gonna be the pathway to maximizing our EV in this situation. I think we just shut them out too often by doing this, and like that's not what we want to be doing. I wouldn't do this today. These are hands from like,
I think you said September.
Like 7 months ago. Like and then here's where we started getting ridiculous. Cause I think this was like final 4 tables. And we're just gonna be opening like everything. And having to fold. And
you get ace-6 to fold and ace-8 to fold.
No, they jam on us.
Oh, they jam. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, we were like, oh, we got chips all of a sudden. Okay, let's go. Yeah, I think this is a fold, yeah. Raising. Betting like 15K. I think 20K is too big, and we go like quarter pot here. 15K, 12K. Checking, yeah. Check calling. Not going anywhere. Check. Win the hand. Win the money.
Is there on that river? Is there any value to, or is there any? Could you be value betting there?
On river?
Yeah.
No, we'd be like donk leading river. I wouldn't be doing that. I think it's just a very narrow range of hands that are even calling us that are worse than our hand on 4 straight, and I don't want to see people like he just bet turn, right? He can have some 2x.
Mm-hmm.
He can have some 2 pairs that became boats on river. He can have a straight. He can have the top end of the straight, bottom end of the straight. He can also have a hand like ace 5, ace 3, ace 4. So and when he does bet turn, it does. It's not something I'm not going to be leading into that range on river.
Okay.
I'm gonna more so. I'm just bluff catching here.
Mm-hmm.
Is what is the play. Yeah. I like a flat. And off the stack depth, this like we I don't think we really know who this guy is. Like if we'd seen him opening a bunch off of the stack depth, like we would probably have just like 3-bet get it in with him. But without any information, an open off of the stack off the stack size from this position should be in general decently strong. Do you agree with that, Melissa?
Yep.
So I think we just play population tendencies and flat because of that. And then we just fold.